Thank you for joining me, Victoria. So let's start with Doha talks. Doha talks resume, and supposedly Taliban may go back to the negotiation table. So what is your expectation, and do you believe these talks will really lead to an ideal result or outcome that Afghans are expecting?
Well, I really don't even understand why these talks are taking place after everything that has been negotiated and after so many promises have been broken on the ground by the Taliban in terms of a resumption of violence and a full-scale attack on the population of Afghanistan and cities. It's quite clear that the negotiated settlement that had taken place between the United States and the Taliban has not held. And so for the special envoy to come back to Doha and negotiate at that time and for, for him to initiate a negotiation based on the leverage that has been gained against the talks, I find it really difficult to understand. It is very clear that the Taliban are not sticking to their previous engagements with the United States. It is very clear that they have used violence to leverage their position in light of these new negotiations. But at the end of the day, the Taliban have to negotiate with the Afghan government and with the greater Afghan state, and that is really when we will be able to say that these are peace talks, really.
So how do you assess the current security situation, increasing violence? Do you share same concerns with Afghans that Taliban choose war over peace?
Absolutely, and this is what I hear every day. And facts speak louder than words. We can see so many now provincial cities having been taken. The Afghan Independent Human Rights Commission has reported on a series of war crimes. Specific tribes are being targeted in the Spin Boldak region, tribes that are against or are seen to be against the Pakistani government. So it is really clear that the security situation is deteriorating. At the same time, it is also clear that the Taliban are engaging in this almost blitz offensive in order to ensure that they have more room to negotiate. And it is quite difficult to know how they will be able to hold those different positions that they have gained. However, there has been increasing reports of foreign fighters helping the Taliban, foreign fighters coming directly from Pakistan. And if this is the case, of course, the Taliban, the existing ranks of the Taliban have the support needed to actually keep those provinces and those provincial cities.
UNAMA in the world expressed concerns over level of violence and also increasing number of civilian casualties, including children and women, especially women being targeted in this fightings. What do you suggest? What should be done to at least decrease the level of the violence or stop the Taliban to do so?
Well, sanctioning Pakistan would be a good start. It is quite clear that Pakistan is behind the ongoing violence, and it is important to hold the different parties accountable. So sanctions against Pakistan at the United Nations would be really important. And then I think that the UN mandate, the UNAMA mandate, which is the UN mission in Afghanistan, is going to be up for renewal in September. Changing the terms of that mandate and maybe changing the chapter of the UN Charter under which the mandate is established would help beef up the UN mandate over there and beef up the different areas of competencies and hopefully bring some leverage to the table and most importantly protect civilians in the conflict.
So the insecurity in Afghanistan, how it impact your work? What is your concerns, especially when it comes to function or continuing education at American University of Afghanistan?
Well, of course, the security situation or the perceived security situation has an impact on our faculty, on our students. We are assessing the security situation daily to ensure that none of them are placed at risk. And we are really following the guidance of different competent parties to ensure that nobody is at risk. We are really worried for our students in the provinces who are now, some of them living under Taliban rule, and that's really our primary concern at the moment. We want to bring them as much assistance as possible, but of course, this is quite difficult from where we stand. But on a daily basis, we are ensuring the safety and security of everyone, and we have all the different parties and help and assistance to help us do that.
So Victoria, as a woman, you're teaching at American University of Afghanistan, you work with women closely. What's your thoughts about Afghan women and their future? Right now is a kind of propaganda or actual that Taliban are trying to find these young women between 12 and 45, and they are subject of rape and looting and forced act or nikah or marriage. What's your thoughts about it? How they can be protected with the context of a conflict? Because according to the rules of war, the women and children should be spared.
Absolutely, and I think that this is the most important finding, so to speak, of the latest developments, and this is something that the U.S. government should really take a step back on. It is very clear that those war crimes are being committed. And again, what to do for the civilian population at this time, because they are really caught in the crossfire between the Taliban and also government forces that are trying to repel them. And from that perspective, of course, women, the women that I speak to every day, are really concerned, they're really upset, and they're afraid that they could be next.